How's it going, everyone? It's Rob and Jonny. Welcome to episode 11 of the MMArcade Podcast. Rob, how you going? You bit exhausted, man.
Yeah, mate, I am a little tired. Yeah. The camp is hard. It is hard, and we're in like that chunky bit of camp where the fitness is under your belt. You're fit as hell. The weight's starting to drop down, and every session is performance-based. Like, you want to get to the sessions, and you want to do your matches, and you want to win your matches. You want to win your sparring. You want to win your rolls. It's it is. It's a tiring part, but also the calories are starting to go down. So you kind of your energy levels are fluctuating a little bit, but. You know, been here before. The work's going really well. I got to say, everything is firing well. Sharp as hell.
Yeah.
Fitness is probably ahead of schedule just because I come off that period of not knowing when I was fighting. So I kind of went into the camp running with this.
Yeah.
So I'm really looking forward to July. I'm looking forward to getting in there with Dricus. Dricus? Which one is it?
I let everyone comment on how you pronounced it. Dricus is Dricus Du Plessis. Yeah.
Dricus.
Yeah, but everyone loves that you say Dricus, so just stick with it.
My two alternatives are wrong as well.
Dricus and Dricus.
I'm just going to keep calling him Dricus because I reckon it sounds sick.
I think Dricus is the coolest name ever. So
Dricus sounds dope.
I know. I agree.
And he wouldn't even have to change his name to get it to sound that way. He could just start pronouncing it differently. Just be like, it's pronounced Dricus. But yeah, I saw, I got to say, shout out to the comment where we were reading the comments. And again, there's a shout out to you listeners at home. Thank you very much for all the comments and the views and the subscriptions because, you guys fuel this podcast. You guys fuel it. Because me and Jonny were very close to calling it this week due to the lack of UFC news and me in camp and everything.
Yeah.
And no, the comments got us here. The comments gave us that little bit of energy we needed because we do go through them. They do fuel us.
Every comment, yeah.
Yeah, 100%. And MVP comment goes, I forget who it was. I should have wrote down his name, but he wrote, as a South African, I'm just happy I'm in the conversation. I was like, dude, you got the right mentality, my friend. That's how you need to be, just zen in life.
Absolutely, that's freaking hilarious.
Yeah, man. From everything I've seen with Dricus is he seems like a straight up fella. He seems like a warrior. He's got like good warrior and honorable spirit about him, and that really excites me. It excites me to have an opponent like that, an opponent that sees the craft for what it is, sees what
for sure.
What we are getting ourselves into, staring across the octagon together in the floor space of the arena. And I really, I don't know, knowing he's like that just gave me, I don't know, electric tingles. I love it.
And we talked about this last week, man, when you were saying a lot of people are underestimating, him. He's here for a reason, right? Like he got on a string of wins, and he's a very we're talking about the UFC here. You don't get there and then you're not being skillful. So I think a lot of people are underselling him. He's in that position for a reason. And to be honest, like if they had pushed the angle with Izzy a bit more, I could have easily seen Dana being like given the title shot just because of the story. You know what I mean? Yeah.
I think I read somewhere that he actually commented on that and saying, I'm not here to do the smart thing. I'm here to fight. And that's why I am so happy with this fight, because I will respect that and give you a fight with everything that I have. And that is the game for me. That is the craft. That is fulfilling to me in, I don't know, my warrior spirit. It just, it resonates really well. So the camp's going well, training's going well, like missing lots of food. I just want to eat so much food.
Can you say, Rob, how many calories a day are you on at the moment?
Oh, it's hard to say. Probably I want to say 2,500 maybe.
Yeah, not bad. I mean, to me, that sounds like a lot, but I'm not training that hard.
Yeah, like I'm doing do or die sessions for about 4 hours a day.
All right. I'll ask this before we move on. What is your typical like day of eating at 2,500 calories? Like, what are you actually eating to train?
Okay, so this has changed, and my perspective with dieting has. Before we go into it, just FYI. News for the UFC fights obviously are a little slow this week due to there not being a card this weekend.
Yeah.
So we're going to be talking about obviously this, and we've got a big game showcase as well as a lot of questions at the end. Yeah. But in terms of a day of eating for me, so my perspective has changed with dieting, 180 degrees since I started, which was about 16, 17, and I think diets are so specific to the individual. Like you need to find what works for you, what makes you tick, because the human body can adapt to just about anything. But the only thing that makes it work is consistency. So you got to find out what makes it work and then stay consistent with discipline. So my personal diet, the way I like doing it is I don't eat up until after the first session, which is usually about midday. So I do the first session under my belt with no food. I do have coffee with a little milk in there, but that's just...
That sounds brutal.
Yeah. No, it's not. I don't even notice it, to be honest, because I was one of those kids that when they woke up for school didn't feel like breakfast and then smashed all 4 of their sandwiches at recess.
Dude, if I don't eat first thing in the morning before I head out, I'm a very cranky man. Very angry.
You see, I just don't. I'm not even hungry when I wake up.
Damn.
But then I eat on the back end. So I'll have my first meal, and then I'll coast on that meal to the second session, finish the second session, and then have dinner. And that's my eating. That's how I eat.
Damn.
You know, I like having 2 heavier meals than like 6 scraggly ones.
Yeah, fair. All right. Next question that I have.
Make me bloated for at least a minute.
After a fight, what's your go-to meal that you just want to pig out and you've been craving?
Oh, mate, it really depends because like
where you are as well, like where you're fighting.
Oh yes, but more so like I'm a big flavors of the month guy. So like there's moments I want Indian food and that's all I want. And then there's moments I want pasta and that's all I'll eat. I'll just hammer the pasta until I'm over it. And I'm like that with a lot of things, like with video games. I'm like that. So I'll just play one video game. Can't play multiple. Can't do multiple things. Just play that one video game. The YouTubes I'm listening to are about that video game or about the company. Like everything is just that theme for that month. And I do that always. But I'll use my last fight in France. I had so much spaghetti bolognese over there, like so much. I was just craving pasta. Yeah. Maybe it was the lack of it, but I was just craving pasta and pastry goods like apple crumble. Do you like apple crumble?
I'll be honest, it's the one pastry that I actually don't like. I do not like apple crumble. I'll eat it. I'm not like against it, but I don't know.
I don't even know what to say because I was.
Come on, I got preferred other pastries. If you're in France, have a croissant.
Dude, like, I don't even know what to say because apple crumble is my favorite dessert ever. It is like, it is the best of everything that is good in the world. And you just stomped all over it.
I said I don't like it. I didn't say it was shit.
Like, what do you like about it?
Probably the apple bit. Like, this is
apple,
what I
like apple?
I like apple. But I think it's the same reason why I don't like pineapple on pizza. I don't like warm fruit as a general thing.
Warm fruit.
Yeah.
You can have cold apple crumble, but
then it's not really it doesn't work. I don't think it works.
What do you mean?
Like who has cold apple crumble?
I think the problem is before I rule you out as just a lost cause.
God,
we wrap up this podcast endeavor at episode 11.
Never do it again.
I think you've just had a bad apple crumble. Everybody, listeners out there, we need suggestions. We need the best apple crumble. Put down in the comments below because Jonny, as well as myself, need to know where the best apple crumble is so we can
I can guarantee you, Rob, you're going to have people in the comments being like, I agree with Jonny. I don't like apple crumble either. And I'm glad he had the confidence to say it.
I guarantee you are not, okay? Apple crumble is followed by, well, the apple crumble I had in France was next tier.
I'm sure it was
like a little underwhelming in France was the croissants. Like, they were good.
Yeah.
Yeah, they were good. Like, of course they were good, but I don't know. A croissant's a croissant, you know?
Yeah, fair. Fair.
I don't know. But
I don't know, man. A warm, buttery croissant sounds awesome to me.
Yeah, right. They are great. Like fresh, flaky.
Yeah.
Oh, I got to stop talking about food. I'm cutting weight, dude.
We're not helping your situation.
No, I'm skinny, Rob. You know what I just realized as well? We're wearing the same brand.
We are wearing Champion. We absolutely did you buy that? Hold on. I want to mention it because you're doing something this weekend at Culture Kings. I bought this from Culture Kings.
Yes. Oh, yes, I did. This one actually says Culture Kings.
There you go. There we go. Yeah.
I had two of. But I am doing a viewing in an appearance. I'm showing up on the Gold Coast at Pacific Fair at 2:00 on Sunday. So
nice.
If you're there, come by, say hello. I've caught a plane to go see you guys. So say hello.
It's hard. It's hard to get you when you're doing your fight camp to
I know, and I'm flying up that day, like
nice work,
just
man.
to say hey, and then go back to the camp. But non-sponsored, by the way, non-sponsored by Champion. Yeah. Heads up to anybody out there that wants to throw some clothes our way.
I can go for another hoodie.
It is, dude. How cold is it here in Sydney?
Dude, it's like 6 degrees waking up. What is going on at the moment?
It is death. Like,
dude, we used to in our apartment. We used to have to use the aircon at night because it's very well insulated, but it gets super warm. We're not having to do that now because it's freaking cold, and we're not used to it here in Sydney.
No, and like I know all our our listeners that are from actual cold parts of the world, where there's ice and snow.
Yeah,
like, why are they saying 8's cold? Like, it's cold for us, you know.
It is.
My sore back.
It's all acclimatization. Like, you know, where I'm originally from, Canberra, like it is really cold over there. Like that gets into the negatives, right? So I used to walk around in Sydney when I first moved here with like a t-shirt when it's in winter. And everyone's like, what the hell's that guy doing? I'm like, because I'm used to it. Now I'm a Sydney person through and through.
I got to say though, I do feel the cold a lot more when I'm skinny Rob. Skinny Rob doesn't like the cold.
Fair enough.
Fat Rob doesn't mind the cold. So I'll
you
get
say
back
Fat Rob, but you're not Fat Rob. you're maybe comparatively.
Fat Rob's squarer than Skinny Rob. Skinny Rob looks like got that V shape and those bumps, but Fat Rob does not.
Fair.
I think
that was our MMA segment.
That's our MMA segment. We scabbed 14 minutes out of it. You know, that's not too bad.
Everyone would have loved that. They would have loved to have listen to you talk about what you eat during your fight camp and stuff like that. I think that's great,
mate. Yeah, it was good. Let's go though. Let's go. Let's see what the meat and bones of this episode's about.
Well, look, we were talking about it before we started recording. Thank God that there was a PlayStation showcase today because there's actually so much games news to talk about. It's all from the PlayStation showcase. If any of you watched it, there was a huge ton of announcements. Not all PlayStation 5 exclusives. There were a lot of titles also coming to the Xbox. But we're essentially going to go one by one, like through the main titles anyways, talking about our thoughts and what we saw. We've also got the trailers because it's sometimes hard to remember everything that you saw. So we're going to watch the trailers at the same time as we talk. But Rob, the show started, right, with Jade Raymond's Haven Studios revealing their Fair Game $sign. Or Fair Games with the $sign. To me, it's a bit cringe. I hate that.
I ain't gonna lie. I thought that was a typo.
No, it's not. It's Fair Game with a $sign.
Dude. Oh man, the world's going to shit.
But I will say, like, it looked cool, right? That was a very, very small nitpick, all right? So Jade Raymond, all right, she's, everyone knows her from Ubisoft. She used to be a producer there, responsible for titles like Assassin's Creed, Splinter Cell, Watch Dogs. Eventually, she became the managing director there. And since then, she's been looking to move on and do her like AAA games thing. And it looks like Fair Game $, let's just call it Fair Game, is that title. It's like a competitive heist experience coming to PS5 and PS5 and PC. Like I think the concept is you're robbing the ultra rich, something like that. And here's a very common theme for the entire showcase: a lot of CGI, not too much gameplay, and that was the exact same with this title here. But if anything, the comparison that I'm getting is Payday for what this title could possibly be.
Yeah.
What did you think of Fair Game?
Or even Watch Dogs. It looks very similar to Watch Dogs. I gotta say, from the cinematic, whilst amazing, looks great.
Yeah.
I don't know what I'll get. I don't like.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It's a cinematic at the end of the day.
It was a common talking point from the showcase, and it was with this game and a few others that we'll mention, that there was a lot of CGI, and obviously, like, we're gamers, we like to see gameplay. So that was one of the kind of bits people were not so high on when it came to this showcase, unfortunately.
Yeah. What is it? My rating is going to be, I don't know. What's that? What's that? If I don't know, it's going to be neutral. What's a dead neutral?
Let's just say neutral.
It was a cool cinematic.
Yeah, as they all were. Like, I will say this: like, game studios have gotten very good at doing cinematics. Right, a lot of money gets pumped into them, and to be honest, makes for a good TV, ad. It looks flashy to people that aren't looking at gameplay as closely as perhaps you and I are, and other people watching this podcast.
Yeah, but I feel like you need to put some gameplay in there. I feel like the cinematic, makes the gameplay better.
Do you know what who does really good cinematics, Rob? And you're very familiar with this game. Elder Scrolls Online do the best cinematics.
The best.
You could make movies.
Psyched.
Yeah,
they psych me up every time I watch one. I'm like, guess I'm buying the next pack. Oh, dude.
Yeah, if any publisher needs to take cues from another when it comes to cinematics, it's absolutely sauce.
Very pumped for this next one, mate.
Yeah. Helldive.
Not my favorite on the list. Yeah. Not my favorite on this, but top 2.
I'm right there with you. So the next title that we're talking about is Arrowhead's Helldivers 2, right? So, Rob, did you play the original Helldivers? Because I didn't.
I did not.
Yeah. So the original Helldivers was a hardcore co-op, top-down twin stick shooter. Absolutely not what we're getting now. The concept thematically is very similar, but it's being remade as a third-person co-op shooter where you're shooting aliens together with friends. And to be honest, there was very dystopian satirical elements that felt very Fallout-y. And even the gameplay in third person in particular felt like Fallout 76. I know. I got those vibes. And to be honest, they're not unique to Fallout, but that was where my mind went. But it seems like there was tons of gameplay, which was a huge boon for this game. A lot of frenetic third-person shooting, tons of different biomes, tons of different alien-looking creatures coming to PS5 and PC this year. Rob, what did you think of Helldivers 2?
Okay, this is the second game on the list that I am most excited for. I don't agree with the Fallout vibes. I didn't get that vibe, especially when you look at it from the standpoint of the comedy they're trying to portray, like the satirical nature that they're trying to put in there. I got Starship Troopers, especially that scene where they're putting the flag in. I'm pretty sure that scene is in Starship Troopers. I haven't seen that movie for decades.
Yeah,
but mate, I am, and the bugs look almost exactly the same as the ones on Starship Troopers.
That was such a good movie.
Such a good movie. Such a good movie.
Yeah.
My son's playing an alien game at the moment, like a bug killing game.
Yeah.
I kind of want to show him the movie, but he's 8, so I'm not going to do that. Yeah. But yeah, I got Starship Troopers vibes from Helldivers, and it made me just pumped. I'm pumped because I love Starship Troopers, and yeah, I love the comedy, the lightheartedness to just get in there and smash them bugs.
Yeah, and the gameplay looked fun. Like, and I think that's why this game sold a lot of people, because you're playing with your friends, you're shooting cool like aliens, and the gunplay looks like fun. So long as it operates well on launch, I think this could actually be a decent success.
I think this could be a banger. Like, this is it. It looks exactly what you kind of want with you and the boys. You just all hop on. You got an hour. 4 of yous go in there for survival against the bug sort of thing. It sounds sick.
No, so absolutely keeping an eye out for. So I'm assuming it's a PlayStation published game, but I'll figure out how we can get some codes, Rob. That'll be my mission after this.
We're getting drowned in codes.
Absolutely. I mean, we'll talk about a title where we're getting a code for soon. So the next title that we have to talk about, it was a new gameplay trailer for Immortals of Avium. This is an EA Studio supported title from Ascendant Studios. It's a single player first person magic shooter that's coming to PS5, but also Xbox and PC as well on July 20. This looked cool. I actually, and this was gameplay as well. It wasn't CGI. I love the way, and I want to pull up the trailer now. The guy was just shooting magic from his hand, and all different effects and stuff. I love this one.
That magic whip thing he was grabbing things with.
It looked sick, dude. I'll be honest. It's kind of cheesy, I know, but I thought this actually looked really good.
I think it looks really cool if that's like it's obviously very targeted, because you can see, I feel like with games today, a lot of these AAA titles are trying to hit a couple different genres all at once to drag in as big a consumer base as they can. This is kind of going in the other direction, where it's like what you're getting is a first person shooter, fast paced action, run in, guns blazing, magic here, magic there. And that's got to be the game you want. Like, that's got to be a lot like Doom. Like, that's the same sort of magical Doom, but less slow sort of thing. But that's the game you're getting, though. Very first-person shooter, running in, shoot everything, kill everything, next level.
I'm glad you mentioned Doom as well, because even that one boss fight was very, very reminiscent of Doom and the boss fights in there. And the thing that I like about it, like I'm a huge fan of shooters, and I know you are too, Rob. It's a shooter without being a shooter because it's magic, but they still have incorporated it in a very, very cool way. Oftentimes, like a lot of action adventure games that incorporate magic are usually third person, and we don't see them like this. And I'm kind of getting, if you think back on like, you know, dual wielding in Skyrim with all your powers and stuff, it's kind of like that, but it felt like Doom and a lot of fun. And it looks phenomenal as well, the gameplay itself.
Yeah, I mean, I'm interested in seeing what actually comes out.
July 20. It's very, very soon.
Getting some more details.
Yeah, absolutely. The next title that we have, though, this one was another CG trailer. Ghost Runner 2, a sequel to One More Levels action platformer, the original Ghost Runner. A lot of vehicular combat, players riding at high speeds, and you're on a motorcycle and you're stabbing enemies with your sword. Coming sometime this year. Not much more that we can kind of say about this one, because, again, it was a CG trailer.
It was a cinematic, and I hadn't played Ghost Runners 1.
No, neither have I. Let us know in the comments below if you played Ghost Runners 1, because I'd never really heard of that game until this trailer.
One of the things you said about you mentioned last game was that I'm a bit of a shooter. I think you're more of a shooter fan than I am. I
would say that, yeah.
I'm not really a shooting fan.
Really? I thought you loved shooters, bro.
No, you should have worked it out when in Fallout 4 and Fallout 76.
But they're not really
chose
shooters.
To punch things.
Yeah, true. Okay, yeah, you're right. But I would say that they're not really shooters first and foremost.
Yeah. I played Doom and I enjoyed Doom, but honestly, I couldn't keep up with it. It moves too fast. Like I start shooting games are hard for me. Like they're hard for me to. They're very fast, very fast.
Yeah, but that's what people want nowadays.
Over 30 now. I'm a man over 30. I like your turn-based game.
Yeah, our reflexes aren't as good as they used to be when it comes to video games. We get our ass handed to us.
You know, I still get some kills in Fortnite. I'm not too bad. Do some little dancey moves on people.
I'm sure you do. So
I was so degrading the way you said it.
Well, dude, I tell you a funny story about Fortnite, right? So I played it a bit in the past and then didn't play for a few years. Got back into it. First game, I ruined everyone. I was like, oh my God, I'm the king. And then I figured that was intentional. What they do when you haven't played for a while or you're a new player, without telling you, your first game in Fortnite is against bots. And they gear it so you win, so you feel good, and you keep playing the game. So I got suckered into that, and I felt so duped.
It works so well.
It sucked me right in. Yeah. Tricky. But the next title, Rob, all right, hopefully is more up your alley. So Phantom Blade Zero. This looked so cool. New hack and slash RPG set in the Phantom world, very much Chinese themes here, Chinese kung fu, steampunky kind of game. It's going to feature fast-paced sword combat, in what they described as a semi-open world. No release date yet, but I'm getting very similar vibes to like Ghost of Tsushima or even Bloodborne, games like that. You're not quite a samurai, but you're still a swordsman. Crazy, fast, awesome sword combat. Had some really cool bosses in there, and this one actually is a PS5 exclusive. What did you think of Phantom Blade Zero?
I got a lot of like Sekiro vibes.
Yeah,
that or Nioh vibes.
I remember Nioh, man. That was a great game.
Dude, Nioh 2's hard, bro. It's like fast Dark Souls. You need to learn like 900 Tekken 6 combos to bloody get things done. But not talking about that one. That I got the vibes. I got very Sekiro vibes from it. It looked very Dark Souls-y kind of like realistic combat, sort of like consequential combat, I should say. And I'm pumped for it. I think it takes my number 4 spot on the list.
I love how you rank these, by the way. I was gonna say as well. Did you ever play Ninja Gaiden as well?
You mean like on Sega?
Yeah, well, was it on Sega? It was on like the 360. That's when I played it.
Then if it's anything other than the Sega one, then no.
Ninja Gaiden. Oh my God, it was on the Sega. I was never a Sega person.
Dude, I played it on this. I played it on the Sega, and I remember it was cool then.
Yeah, well,
that's what you're talking about.
Different. It is the same franchise, but it was obviously reimagined on the 360, so not quite the same. But I
wonder how far they came.
Yeah. Well, here you go. This is the spiritual successor to Ninja Gaiden. But yeah, it just looked really cool. And the bosses in particular had some really cool character designs. Like the guy that had the lion gun strapped to his arm and shot it at you. And there was a lot of the gameplay as well where you're riding on the back of a horse and enemies are jumping and attacking you. And you're just executing these really, really cool sword techniques. I think this is very, very Ghost of Tsushima, and I still haven't played that game yet. It's on my list.
More so than Sekiro, you reckon, or more so than Nioh?
I mean, look, it's probably like a mishmash of everything. Like, it seems to be taking a lot of inspiration from different games, for sure.
Definitely. I reckon I will say those 3 titles at the very least.
Yeah, this feels very much like a typical PS5 exclusive. And I think a lot of hardcore PlayStation 5 fans will like it for that reason.
I'm excited.
Yeah. Next title that we have, though, I never played Talos Principle, and this is not one that got me excited, but Talos Principle 2 is coming this year. For those of you that don't know, they're kind of like a first-person puzzle game with, quote, in the tradition of a philosophical science fiction, right? And the sequel is set to expand the first game's philosophical themes and stunning environments with increasingly mind-bending challenges. Now, again, the trailer looked pretty, but it wasn't actual gameplay. This one is also a PS5 exclusive as well. Yeah, I don't think this would be a game that I'd personally play, but what did you think, Rob?
Yeah, I thought we had gone to a commercial, to be honest. I had absolutely no idea what was going on. I was trying to pick up things. It was like, is this like a prelude to like a Civilization 5 sort of game? Yeah. And then nah, dude, it's a puzzle game, and you've lost me.
I know they have their audience. Yeah.
I've never been a big fan of puzzle games. That's not to say I won't try them. I've never tried them. So maybe I'm a puzzle game fanatic, and I just don't know it yet. But that one's going a little bit lower on my list on order of play.
Yeah, same with me as well. But
this next one I forgot was there, so I'm gonna have to reshuffle my list. The one that was in 4, the Samurai one, it's gonna go down to 5
because of Metal Gear Solid.
Because of Metal Gear Solid. Yes, of course it is. Of course. Are you a Metal Gear Solid fan?
I played one of them, but I'm not. And this is not to say that I think they're bad. It just never engaged me. However, I will hold on. I will say
Apple Crumble. No Metal Gear Solid. You hurt me, dude.
Look, do you want me to give you a box so you can sneak away and not do the podcast? Huh? At least I know that much about the franchise. But mate, here's the thing. This is the time. If anyone is going to get into Metal Gear Solid, it is now, because Metal Gear Solid 3 is getting a full remake. This was, again, a big CGI trailer, no gameplay. But remakes have been the thing lately, Rob. There's been Resident Evil 4. There's been a ton of them this year that I can't even think of right now. There's another one that's actually coming out very, very soon called System Shock as well. That's another remake. Big, kind of theme this year of remakes, and this one's no exception. But plus as well, on top of that, we're getting the Master Gear Solid Gear Solid Master Collection Volume 1, which includes Master Gear Solid 2, Sons of Liberty, and 3, Snake Eater. That was a huge tongue tie. But Rob,
you derailed it.
I derailed it, but
pull it back.
I couldn't. But what did you think of what do you think of us getting a remake for Master Gear Solid?
Okay.
Metal Gear Solid. Fuck me.
I think remaking games is beautiful.
Yeah.
We're old heads at this point. We were around when gaming kind of got started. So to see the games we grew up with, those iconic games come back in 4K, say no more. No more. Funny thing about Metal Gear Solid remake though, in specific remake, because I don't know if you know this, but Metal Gear Solid, up until a certain point, was directed by one dude, and he left the company.
Hideo Kojima.
And then Metal Gear Solid went.
What was that game? So after Hideo left, it wasn't like traditional Metal Gear.
It was Survivor.
Yeah,
the survival one where it's like there were like vampires and crap.
I think it was called Metal Gear Survive. I think that's what the name was.
But it just went down, dude. So to see them remaking the iconic ones, they were such good games. And remember, this is from someone who I don't like playing a character that's pre-made, like prefabbed, and for me to be so invested in it to want to play it again. It is really, really cool. I played all of them. And Snake Eater was really cool. It was one of the ones where there was a few things you could do to have different outcomes on different parts of the quests. On some of the bosses, you didn't have to kill some of them and things like that. I was much bigger into Metal Gear Solid 2 than the others, but I'm keen and excited.
What would you be looking as a fan of Snake Eater in particular? What are you looking for the remake? Just you want it to stick as closely to the original but just look really, really pretty, or do you want to see some new content in there? What are you looking for?
I just want to see it in 4K. I want to see everything just crystal clear. I thought it was a pretty solid game. I honestly, if you're asking me, I can't think of what I would do differently. I remember now, that was the one with Eve in it. I'm pretty sure. It was so cool, and I like the next one too, the one that's on the tankers. Yeah, with Rain, dude. Oh, what's her name? Is her name Pain or Rain? I don't know. One of the side characters. I got obsessed with her for a bit, but Like obsessed, dude.
Rain? I'm trying to search now.
Pain. Maybe it's pain.
Pain?
No. Rain?
I mean, there's a game called Phantom Pain, but that's all I'm finding.
No. Is her name Silent?
You're just naming things at the moment.
No, I think it's Silent. I think it's Silent.
Actress, mate? Quiet?
I think Quiet.
Is
Quiet.
That's it Quiet?
Quiet. Yeah, that's her.
You were getting there.
I was working I had a method to the madness, but I was obsessed with that NPC, dude.
That's great.
Obsessed.
I'm pretty sure it is Quiet. It
is.
I think this is a good chance for people like myself that aren't really fans of Metal Gear to jump into it. Like we saw as well with Dead Space this year. That was huge. And from that, EA is probably doing a Dead Space 2 remake. I know some people might see them as a little bit uninteresting to remake these old titles, but some of these old titles, Rob, like you think in your head of what these games looked like and felt like when you played them. But if you go back, you realize they really did not look that good. And it was your imagination running wild,
Yeah. People that's kind of like the gate, the block that's stopping the newer generations from jumping into these
for sure
beautiful titles. It's just the graphics. It'll hold me back, and I know what the game is. I like the game.
Yeah.
So to see them remade in 4K, can't wait.
And graphics and also controls as well. So it might make some improvements there. But the next title that we have, Alan Wake 2, coming October 17. So we got another look at that game. It shows the original Alan Wake character returning, who appears to be trapped somewhere. And there's a new playable character called Saga Anderson, who's joining Alan in this investigation. This looked pretty cool. Like Alan Wake was always a cool horror game. Yeah, correct.
Yeah, cool.
So it looks fun. Yeah, you're not going to play it?
Detective games? Oh, man.
No, not for me. Not for you.
Not for me.
Fair.
I don't think so. Like, I'll try it. Was Alan Wake the one where he had, he was part demon?
Part demon? Like demon? No, I think you're thinking of something else.
I obviously am. But, yeah, I'm not super pumped for it, to jump into a detective game, but if it's that good and people rave on about it, I will.
Yeah, fair enough.
I will definitely give it a sus.
Here's the next title is what?
They're not my game of choice. They're not my game of choice.
Yeah, you like shooters.
No, I like turn-based RPG roguelike sort of games.
Fair. So the next game though that I'm personally really excited for is Assassin's Creed Mirage. So we've finally got a release date for this game and saw some gameplay. It's coming October 12 across all platforms. And the gameplay in particular at the showcase showed a new feature called Assassin's Focus. So essentially you could mark and assassinate several targets in a row. This game is taking the franchise back to its roots. Very much the original Assassin's Creed looks and feels like that, actually playing as an assassin. And don't get me wrong, I loved Valhalla. I thought it was a little bit of a bloated game, and I thought it could have done that in a much different way. But I still like the franchise. I find the lore fascinating. And going back to basics here, I think is absolutely what the franchise needed to kind of reboot. I thought the gameplay looks really smooth. The sword attacks look slick. The use of the hidden blade is awesome. What did you think of the gameplay for Mirage?
Okay. I could see how happy you were getting as you were
here we go.
Speaking
right. Is this going to be your apple crumble, Rob?
mate, it's just another Assassin's game. Assassin's Creed game.
No,
what do you want? Not. What do you want from me? No. What do you want from me? It looks exactly the same like all the others. What do you mean?
They're doing something different now. They're going back to the roots. They're giving us what we want. Yes. It's going to be set in the Middle East and Baghdad, and it's going to be cool. You're going to be an actual assassin this time.
Well, they were all kind of assassins, except
no, they got away
from the Viking one and the Greek one.
But that's exactly what I mean.
Then there was a pirate remix.
Hey, Black Flag was pretty cool. I didn't actually
Black Flag was sick.
It was a sick game.
I loved Black Flag. It was the only Assassin's Creed game I enjoyed because I just loved plundering and pirating on people. But yeah, I don't know. Assassin's Creed games, I've never been able to get into them. I've tried 100 times. Yeah, because I don't like sneaky boy stuff. I want to be sneaky boy. I want to
hold
run
on,
up to people and just shank you while you're looking me in the eyes.
Wait. Does Metal Gear Solid not have sneak in it?
Yeah, but it's different.
How is it different?
Nah, because you don't need to be a sneaky boy. It just helps heaps.
You don't need to be a sneaky boy in Assassin's Creed. It just helps heaps.
Well, but the thing is, with Metal Gear Solid, you can be a sneaky boy and not kill anyone.
Okay, all right, that's where you've got me. Assassin's Creed, the point is to kill people.
Assassin's Creed, you got to shiv everybody eventually.
But you are an assassin.
You know what tripped me out as well? You know what made me hate it, honestly? That made me very hard for me to get into it was the fact that you're playing as some kid in a VR system that gets sent back in time. That never, whatever it is. Who am I?
I could sit here and defend that mechanic to the death, right? I think it ties the story together. I think it was a very cool concept at the time when they first introduced it. Yeah, eventually, it just became the thing that they kind of had to do, and people just wanted to get to the actual bloody gameplay, right? So I totally get it. But I think the way that they're going about it, even in Valhalla, I thought it was very smart, and it's kind of like it's in the background. It doesn't really affect the gameplay. You still get your cool assassin-y stuff. It doesn't matter if you're technically in a VR machine, in my opinion.
I can't forget that.
Oh, come on,
Johnny.
Rob. You're still playing as the assassin and what they did. It's their memories. It's the stuff that actually happened. So
it broke my immersion. But then one more thing that I found with it, the combat, right? There's a parry mechanic. So if you time the parry at the right time, it nullifies all damage encounters.
In which game? Because they've gone through different combat in Assassin's Creed.
Okay. Well, then I'm going to drop that
Black
point.
Flag?
I am interested to see what it looks like when it's actually launched. Maybe this is the one that gets me into it. But if I see a VR machine, then it's probably not. So
look, if there was ever an Assassin's Creed game to bring people back into the franchise, in all honesty, it's probably this, because it seems to be a reboot of sorts. And yeah, I'm personally very excited for it. And we will see more, I assume, of Assassin's Creed Mirage at the Ubisoft Forward event, which is happening next month. There's another thing that we have to talk about, Rob. Ubisoft Forward is June 12th. There you go. So let's talk about...
Look at this. They're practically giving us content.
I know, absolutely.
Giving us content.
Absolutely. And you can guess that Mirage is going to be a big part of that. But the next thing that we have to talk about, the next thing is Street Fighter 6. We got another look at the story mode. I wanted to mention this, Rob. So recently, this week, they invited me to see a bit of Street Fighter 6's demo, because the game is coming out soon, and they brought devs down from Capcom from Japan to talk through the game. It looks so cool, man. And eventually you and I are going to have our moment, because I found out there that Akuma is coming to the game, which I'm very excited
I'll play Ryu and I'll still dust ya. It's coming. It's coming.
I will say
coming,
this, Rob.
Johnny.
This game, and I took a bunch of notes from it, but I won't go into too much detail, but it looks legit. They're focusing a lot on this world tour where it's like the story mode where you're going around in the Street Fighter universe. You can literally go up to people, punch them, and challenge them to a fight and level up like an RPG. It's kind of cool, but obviously like the crux of it and what everyone's playing Street Fighter for is the fighting ground, the regular fighting. That looks as awesome as ever. And they have really cool gimmicks as well. Like there's this one mode where instead of it having the traditional health bars, it's like a shared health bar, and you have to trade back and forth, and whoever has the most health by the end of it wins. And they got like gimmicks where there's like a tug of war. Exactly. I think it's called back and forth or something like that. Bunch of different modes like that, returning characters. I think the story looks really cool. We're gonna play it, and we're gonna go Ken against Ryu.
Don't practice your dog. I can just picture you practicing from now till we fight. Let's just leave it fresh and just see what comes naturally.
So, all right, there's this one thing, and we won't do this control, but another very cool thing that they're doing in Street Fighter 6, so you can get your mum to play and your granddad to play, is it's an AI-based control scheme, so they've essentially played thousands of matches and inputted the best moves that you could possibly do with each character at different distances and depending on different opponents. And all you need to do is press buttons and it does the moves for you. That's one control scheme. And I thought that sounded very interesting. You can't do it in ranked mode, naturally, but I thought it was pretty cool. Cool use of AI, and it's a good way to get like more casual players in.
You can use that.
Rob, no, don't say that because I'd probably kick your ass if I could do that.
Use your AI bot. It's fine. It's fine.
Then you'd be going up against the AI and not me because I'd just be mashing buttons.
No, it'd be you and the AI. Hand holding.
Nah, I'll do classic controls or the other one. But yeah, Street Fighter 6 looking cool, coming out next week. Rob, we're talking about Dragon's Dogma next. I never played Dragon's Dogma.
Next one is my number one game. Number one. I am pumped for with the release of with the PlayStation release.
Talk to me about Dragon's Dogma 2 then.
Mate, Dragon's Dogma 1 was so good and so underrated. It was such a good game. It was so similar to, it was like very Dark Soulsy.
Yep.
But not as grim dark, more fantasy based. But it also introduced like a companion system where you actually had companions and things like that, and like classes per se. And it was just such a good game. And I got it on my Steam library. It never got the love it deserved. So to see it coming out in Dragon Dogma 2, as well as like from what we saw in the clip, like the way that meteor came out of the sky from a billion years away and come down and destroyed that mob of bad guys. It's just, it was so cool. I am so pumped for this game. Taking my number one spot of games I'm pumped to play.
Dude, it looked like a game that I would actually genuinely enjoy. I will say that. Like the different monsters, I don't know if it has any comparisons. Like, have you played Monster Hunter? But is the whole concept of is it similar at all? Is that the concept of just going around fighting monsters? Because I haven't played the first one.
Nah, there's a quest system. It's closer. I would say it's closer to Dark Souls. So you kind of, like
but not gameplay wise. It's not like a super hard game.
No, but I'm pretty sure you needed to roll.
Okay, so maybe it was like Dark Souls.
Maybe not. Yeah, maybe not. I can't remember. The last time I played it was a while ago.
Yeah,
but I'm very excited. It looks very RPG with with
RPG.
With a lot of fantasy elements. It looks sick. I cannot wait.
Yeah. So next up, they talked about a bunch of PlayStation VR 2 titles, but I think we can skip over those. We can probably talk about these next two because, again, both of them CGI trailers with no gameplay, and both of them PvP shooter games. One is by Bungie, the other one is by Firewalk. One is called Marathon, and the next one's called Conquered, and they both seem like sci-fi PvP shooters. What more can you say?
It's very hard to talk about anything when they use just a cinematic for the reveal.
Yeah, and honestly, like you could probably swap the logos for the two different games, and no one would be any the wiser. You know what I mean?
They look very similar too.
We'll see. But here's the thing that we kind of talked about the leaks and the rumors. But so PlayStation 5 is getting a dedicated handheld device, right? It's not a standalone thing where you can play games like the Steam Deck. It's called Project Q, and you're able to stream any game from your PlayStation 5 using your remote play over Wi-Fi. It has an 8-inch HD screen, and essentially it's like a screen in between a DualSense controller. Effectively, that's what it looks like. To a lot of people, it looks like a prototype, but like that's what the final design is apparently. And also, PlayStation's releasing official earbuds. But the Project Q, Rob, how do you feel about it being a streaming device and not a dedicated handheld?
I know what they're doing.
Go on, tell us your secrets.
Doing, mate. They're targeting every man that goes to work all day, comes home, spends time with his family, then jumps into bed and just wants to play something, just wants to play a little bit of something before bed. I'm pretty sure you're one of those fellas.
Absolutely. But I play the Nintendo Switch. That's the device that I have.
But you see, I know a lot of boys don't play Switches, or they like Sony games, or they want to play Sony game in particular.
Yeah,
and I reckon that's what they're doing. It's so you can play your PlayStation 5 while your kids are watching something else on your handheld.
Yeah.
Because maybe you only got one TV and you got kids and they want to watch Cocomelon for the 7th billion time. And you're like, all right, here's Cocomelon, and then you can play your thing.
That is the beauty of remote play. Like, I get those same situations all the time. Wife wants to watch something on the TV that the PlayStation 5 is connected to. I've always found remote play to be really good. Yeah, absolute death fight, right? But if you have remote play on your PC, you can play PlayStation 5 games technically on your PC. So this does make it easier. It gives you a lot of flexibility within the household to play your PlayStation 5 games wherever you want to. Yeah, and doing it before bed, which is kind of
especially if you've only got one TV.
For sure.
I think the biggest roadblock this is going to have is the pricing.
Yeah. It's like, and we had the PlayStation VR 2 that had a decent price point. I would hope though, Rob, because this very much sounds like they've squished together two DualSense controllers, right? And it's a screen with Wi-Fi capabilities. Hopefully, it's not too expensive. Like, they're using existing parts. And we're not like, it's not a dedicated device with like a CPU. Like, you know what I mean? Like, it's not like a Steam Deck. Yeah. It shouldn't come anywhere near close to the price of something like that.
Yeah, I'm thinking like a $200 mark.
Or USD?
Yeah, so like maybe 300 max Australian, and you'd be looking at the target market you kind of want to hit.
What's the max that you would pay for something like that?
Well, because then if you're buying the controller because you've only got one TV for $600, you can just buy another TV.
But you would have to connect your PlayStation 5 to the new TV, you know?
Yeah, but then you have a new TV. You have two TVs.
True, yeah. Well, this is the comparison that I like to use. Right now, the Nintendo Switch is like, I think it's like 500 Australian dollars if you wanted to buy the OLED one, something like that. 539 is the full price, but it's on sale for 500 now. It cannot be anywhere close to that because that is a dedicated device. So I would agree. I would say it has to be like 250, 300 AUD. It can't be more than that. Otherwise, it's too expensive.
Yeah, I agree. But
the last game that we had, Rob, and this was the showcase title, is Spider-Man 2.
The flagship.
It looks so good. What did you rank this, by the way? Was this number 2 or 3?
Nah, like 8, 7.
Really? Oh, why?
but like how pumped I am to play it because my kids play it more than me. Not
but you said you liked Spider-Man. You liked the original Spider-Man.
I thought it was cool. Yeah, when I was a kid. I'm a grown man now. Even now,
Spider-Man is a lot of fun, man. It's like the Batman games.
It was honestly, it looks like everything we want in a Spider-Man game. They just they took the previous Spider-Man that was so strong, and one of the better games of on the PlayStation, and they didn't. It looked from this is what I could see. They didn't change what was they didn't change what was. No, what's the word? If it ain't fixed. No, if it ain't broke, don't fix it.
See, you stumbled over this episode too. We're both fucking up.
Episode 11 and we're falling apart. But anyway, if it ain't broke, don't fix it. And I feel like this is what they did. They gave him some extra abilities. They brought in Venom, like the symbiote. What is it?
Symbiote suit. It's actual suit instead of like a symbiote infesting him. It's just the suit that he uses. Yeah,
it's a suit. Okay. Yeah. It looks cool. The way he was moving, the combo connections, it looks fluent, which was one of the biggest highlights of that game to begin with.
Yeah. Yeah, and the fact that you can play as Miles Morales as well, like you're able to switch the gameplay between the both of them. Miles looks like he plays very much like he did in PlayStation 5's Miles Morales. He has his electrical powers and shit like that, so that looked really cool. But the gameplay really did revolve around the symbiote outfit and how that operated with him grabbing multiple enemies at once, and it was very aggressive gameplay, and that seems to be tying into the story as well. Spider-Man is like, I don't think he's becoming evil, but I think he's becoming like a very aggressive style of hero. Like in the way that he's talking,
getting to his head.
Exactly. That's exactly what's happening. And it has something to do with the suit. Yeah.
Yeah.
So this looks cool, man. I'm very excited to play it. Even though I haven't played Spider-Man 1, I played Miles Morales, and I think the story is actually jumping off from there rather than the original.
You see,
Spider-Man.
I think 1 was better than Morales. I think you should go back and play 1.
No, I agree. I
so
should.
Good.
Yeah.
So good. I watched my son play 1 and Morales.
Yeah.
And I'm so happy, like in 2, you can play as both and choose kind of which one you want to run around as. It was, like I said, if it ain't broke, don't fix it. They didn't change any of the mechanics. They just added to them, like with the combo chains, the suit effects. It just, I think it's a good flagship to have. But before we switch topics, before we switch segments,
Go on.
We didn't cover my number 2. Okay.
Wait, what was your number 2? No, I don't think we did.
Number 2 was Final Fantasy 16.
Well, okay. The reason why I didn't have it in here is because, Rob, like we had already known about it and it's coming out soon and it was just another trailer. So that's why. But go on, talk about it.
It was just a cinematic trailer.
Yeah.
It was. Yeah. But that's to be expected from a Final Fantasy game. They're always cinematic trailers.
True, that's true.
You know, even from the trailer, you know what you're getting. You know what you're getting. I guess I'm making a point to bring it up because when I watched the trailer and I heard that music, like no one does game music like Final Fantasy. No one comes close. The orchestra is just ridiculous. Okay. When I heard the music and I saw the clip and I heard the one-liners the characters were saying, it made me want to play Final Fantasy. Made me want to play that one. Regardless if I could make my own character or not, I want to play it. And that's why it's in my number 2 spot. All
right, man. I mean, I'm talking to PlayStation. Maybe we can get some codes for Final Fantasy. Maybe you can do impressions on the podcast after it releases.
Impressions.
Yeah.
All right. If you guys are interested in impressions, game impressions or game reviews or some sort, let us know. And maybe we can what's the word? Split off. Make a split cast. a game cast. Like split off.
Maybe in the future,
we can work it out.
And like
we can work it out.
Yeah, we'll work it out. But like at least once the game comes out, I'm sure you're going to be talking about it in that week's podcast. So yeah, that was pretty much the PlayStation Showcase. I thought it was all right. I thought there was actually a few nice titles in there. I know some people were disappointed, but I think they did pretty good in the end. But now the next segment, what we're watching, playing, reading. Rob, what have you been getting up to this weekend? Oh, this week.
I have been playing the same Ragnarok Online. I saw some guys in the comments below saying they played it back in the day. Hit me up with a link. I'm not ready yet. I'm still adjusting some rates and things like that. I'm not ready.
Once you have it, you gotta link
to the public. But I do look to open it to the public. I do. But I've got to get it stable first because I'm running it, so a little bit of jank involved. But that's more or less all I've been playing. I've been interested in jumping on a couple other roguelikes lately, but I haven't taken the plunge. Like Caves of Cud, if you ever played that, I want to get back into it. I want to sink my teeth into it, but it's so daunting starting a new game in that. It's it's a savage game. Highly recommend. Reading, you know what I started for the first time ever? I started not the first time ever, but I'm actually enjoying it, is an audiobook. So I generally don't like audiobooks because I'm reading fantasy books and I don't know, when the narrator starts, they put on voices as well and you can get a bit how you're going. I don't know. It's hard for me to, it's hard for me to concentrate. But then I started I didn't realize your audio app is synced to your Amazon app. Oh, not your Amazon, your Kindle app. So then I started reading it from my phone. And then when I was driving, I was listening to it. It was just kept the progression going in the book. And I don't know, a fire lit within me. So now I'm pretty G'd on this book called Defiance of the Fall. Actually, but that does remind me, I wanted to comment on someone saying, a few of these comments, people in the comments. Do we mention these comments are just kind of like, hey, watch this. And I put them down in the comments.
Yeah. I reckon we could probably bring them up now because
because they're kind of just
you know what I mean?
We watch reading.
It works.
Sort of thing. It does. It does. That's kind of why I put in there like that. It kind of like brainstorming stuff. But anyway, so B Jackson 93 says, Rob, have you watched Inuyasha? And that is actually the anime that kicked off my my anime. No, what is it? Career?
Like your love of anime, like generally? It was Inuyasha?
Yeah.
Really?
Inuyasha, yeah. I remember watching Bubblegum Crisis on SBS like at 10 o'clock at night when I was 8 or something.
Yeah.
You know? But Inuyasha was the first series I started watching, got recommended it from a friend, and it took me for a ride. I watched it all up until they stopped. It stopped, and then I tried reading the manga that continued on. Couldn't get into it. Can't get into manga. But yeah, Inuyasha. Yeah, that's Inuyasha.
Yeah, cool. I mean, for me, I've been playing a game that I can't talk about because it's currently embargoed, but I will be talking more about it soon, and I'm really digging that one, so I can't wait to. In terms of what I'm watching, well, Rob, we always talk about how we really do read everyone's comments, and we take your suggestions. I watched Hell's Paradise, the entire season, at least, you know, for what's been released now, and I think there are going to be more episodes. I enjoyed it. I am enjoying it. It is a bit offbeat. It's a bit of a strange concept. Like, for those of you that don't know, essentially a bunch of criminals get sent to this island because they're trying to get the elixir of life or some shit. It's very, and maybe this is why you don't like it, Rob. Like the monsters are very much like Attack on Titan-y. And it's very weirdly paced too. I don't know if you found that because you said you watched it, but like straight away, like people are dying and they're already getting into crazy fights with the Tencent on the island. I was like, build up to this a little bit more. You know what I mean? Get me attached to these characters. So it's like I'm not like it's not my favorite of all time or anything like that, but I'm enjoying it. I think it's fun.
Yeah. So to that one viewer who commented saying that I just started Full Metal Alchemist, but Hell's Paradise has it so far, bro. Don't even get out of my comments.
Hey, there was a few people.
Come back when you're 40 episodes deep in Full Metal Alchemist, brother, because that is a masterpiece.
It's not on Crunchyroll. I tried to find it.
Yeah. Well, splurge. Go to one of the other streaming ones. Take the
like
dive.
What? Where else would it be?
Roll the dice. Go to this place called highdive.com.
High Dive. Is that
my
illegal?
That's my alternative. I don't know. You roll your dice putting your details in it, but
oh yeah, well that's not giving me much confidence, is it?
How bad do you want it? Nah.
Wait, hold on.
It's a normal site. It's a normal site. I was joking.
Okay. Well, because like it seems like that's the only way to watch it in Australia because it's not on our Netflix. Where can you watch it in Australia?
I hate how Netflix like cycles through seasons. Like
same.
Like it's just because I go to watch something and it's not there, and it annoys me. Or they have season 2 of something and not season 1, and then I can't start watching it.
Oh, do you know where it is? Okay, this is the stupid thing, and it still pisses me off. So you know how Crunchyroll, Funimation acquired Crunchyroll one way or the other.
Oh yeah,
right. And they were meant to be getting rid of Funimation and putting everything onto Crunchyroll. They still haven't done that. Like, so if we want to watch Full Metal Alchemist Brotherhood, we have to subscribe to Funimation.
It's essentially the same company.
It's the same company, and it's just not on the other app. It's so stupid. Get rid of Funimation is such a trash app. It's so bad.
It's so bad to use. I was subscribed on both of them for a while.
Oh man, it's just because
I couldn't get one of them on the other thing, and I just had to watch it.
It was One Punch Man, same thing. I had to watch that on Funimation and not Crunchyroll.
So good.
Oh, it's so good, but I just didn't want to subscribe to Funimation again. I literally subscribed for a month and I jumped off. But yeah, Hell's Paradise. I think it's all right.
On the topic of anime, with that, Young Giraffe Neck, week 2 of recommending Mob Psycho. I've seen Mob Psycho. I've seen it. It's all right. It's cool. Have you seen Mob Psycho?
It's all right. No, I haven't, but that one's also
Kid
on my list
psychic,
as well.
like really psychic. Really
yeah.
I've seen it. It's all right. It's not bad.
Looks like One Punch Man with hair. I
think that not quite. It's all right. So young giraffe, tell all your mates I've seen Mob Psycho. Okay, right. I give it maybe 7 potato chips out of 10.
You know what's funny about Crunchyroll is that everything is rated over 4 out of 5. Like everything is rated good. It's hard to determine what's actually good on that platform.
Yeah, and then when you come across the 3-star review ones, you know it's shit. You're like, it's terrible, bro.
Because nothing is rated 3, and I've yet to see something like on the top list that has been rated 3.
Yeah, because it's a top list, but I've seen 3s because I've seen a lot of it. You have to go down. You have to go keep scrolling, bro, and you start hitting those 3s and 2s. Trust. Karanjit Singh said, watch Rising of the Shield Hero. I actually recommend that. That is a very good anime. It made me frustrated, like actually feel frustrated for his situation. Okay. And it was really good. I actually haven't seen the last season because I forgot. If there's too much of a time break, I forget what happens in the previous season. But I don't want to watch the previous season because I know what happens. It's a weird limbo I'm in. So eventually I will psych myself up and rewatch Shield Hero, but it was really cool.
Yeah, fair.
Really cool.
That character, by the way, Rising of the Shield Hero, looks exactly like the dude from Black Clover. It's like literally the same character. In terms of looks,
got the character from the same.
I was like, is it the same universe? Like, is that what it is? But yeah,
yeah. All right, then let's get into some questions, mate.
Yeah. So were there any other comments that you wanted to talk about, like that suggested stuff for us to play?
Yeah, I guess because we were talking about reading. William Blair says, Rob was saying he's in a lit RPG books. Have you ever heard He Who Fights with Monsters? It's about the MC's an Aussie. I have read the first 2 books, and it's not bad. It's not bad. I don't know, something in it though. I just couldn't stay hooked on it. I guess it might have been the lead characters. The Aussie stuff, for one, it was kind of cringe. Talking about having a barbecue. It's like in a world of magic. Like, but also, he the main character seemed like very manipulative, and when I read these books, I immerse myself in the main character's shoes. So if I don't resonate with the main character, I kind of drop the book a little bit. But it's not a bad book though. Very well read, and the dude's pumping them out. I don't know. He's up to like at book 7 or something. Dude's flogging them out. So
nice.
Yeah. Cool.
All right. Well,
I think that's it.
That's it. So let's move on to the questions. Remember, if you want us to answer your questions, leave them in the comments. We read every single one of them, and we try to get as many as possible. We said we were going to include more questions this week because we thought it was going to be a short podcast. An hour later, we're still recording it. The first question.
We need to cut a couple of these questions out.
Imagine if we had an MMA segment. That would have been insane. Number 1 is from Dunham, asks, if you were in an Elder Scrolls or Fallout game as an NPC, what would be the thing that you would constantly say to the player character over and over? What would be your line, Rob?
I don't know. I reckon like something like, have you lost your mind? I reckon that would be so annoying after like the 1,000th time you had heard it because you bumped into him. I feel like I've heard that before.
You literally recorded lines for your character in Skyrim.
Yeah, but like I feel like I've heard that annoying phrase.
Yeah, probably from what you recorded for your character in Skyrim.
Maybe I already am the annoying guy.
maybe like for those of you that don't know, find Rob's Skyrim mod. It's somewhere on the marketplace. Yeah. And see the things that he says. For me, it's such a cheesy one, but I'd say war never changes over and over and over. It's what I say on my YouTube channel all the time. It's cheesy, but I love Fallout. The next question that we have is cool Nibe asking, If there is one anime series or movie you would love to for a video game to be made of, what would it be?
Sword Art Online. Mm-hmm. Easy one. I've tried looking up games that hit that, and they can't. I want it to be open world. I want it to be MMO. I want it to be able to buy houses and buy bakeries and start bakeries and kill monsters and hunt bosses and do dungeons and everything in between.
Yeah. It honestly, Sword Art Online sounds like a video game. The title sounds like a video game.
It is a video game. Like, that's the whole premise of the show. Like, the dudes all put on the VR headset and they can't leave it and they get stuck in the video game.
They should just do it. It makes sense, you know?
Right?
It's literally, make it a VR game if you really want to go to next level. For me, I would say at the moment, because I'm really enjoying it, is Vinland Saga. I think that would make for a sick video game. Viking era. Yeah, Viking era, really cool characters,
they kind of have fighting. That Assassin's Creed Valhalla, don't you think?
No, it's different. Assassin's Creed Valhalla is a Viking game, like Assassin's game that's trying to be a Viking game.
Have you played Mountain Blade?
No.
Oh, you haven't played Mountain Blade Bannerlord, dude? Oh.
Mount and Blade, right? Yeah.
Yeah, Mount and Blade Bannerlord. Yeah. If you like raiding and pillaging and pirating and proper old school ransacking, dude, that's your game.
But that's not what Vinland Saga is. That's not quite what Vinland Saga is. I would say either Vinland Saga or even like the Vikings, TV show. Like, but because it is about pillaging, don't get me wrong, but there's more story behind it. You know what I mean? I'd want it to be story.
Yeah, but you can't have if you want to play the exact story though, then
no, but it can be a spin-off, like based off of it. But I still want a story based, like a game that's just pillaging and shit. Eventually, that to me would grow tiresome.
Yeah, I guess.
Need a bit of depth to the gameplay, Rob.
Yeah, we need some depth to pillaging.
Correct. Why am I killing these people? These innocent people. Next question that we have is from William Blair asking.
No. We
you already done that one.
This one. Yeah.
Oh, there we go.
No, we put that in the part above.
Yeah, thank you, William Blair, for asking that, by the way. And now it's Little Ming111. Question for Rob. Does he feel jealous that Jan Blachowicz, that's a character from fucking, what's it called? Bethesda game. Anyway, do you feel jealous that Jan walked out to the Skyrim theme song?
I don't feel jealous. I don't think I could do that. I don't know. Whilst I'm a big fan of Skyrim, obviously, as everyone is, I would assume, I would hope to believe anyway.
Yeah.
I do understand it's just a video game, and I'm a grown-ass man.
Oh, come on. You said you'd walk out to Black Clover's anime music.
If I had to, I'm not like...
That's what they're asking, Rob. Do you feel a little jealous?
No, I don't feel jealous. I don't feel jealous at all. I don't.
Because you didn't do it first. Yeah, fair. The next question that we have is from Otaku Valentine. What is your go-to post-fight video game / TV show?
Oh, mate, it's usually whatever game I'm into that week. I jump into it. TV show, I don't really watch too much TV shows. So, just whatever game I've been playing that week, that's the game I play.
Fair. YouTube Warrior asks, hey champ, has there ever been a fight in your career where you've totally ignored your corner's advice / game plan?
Okay, I've never ever totally ignored, but there was one fight my coach was saying this, like, it's dangerous to lead with the left kick, and I did a lot, and that was with Darren Till.
Right.
I was lead kicking with my lead leg to his lead leg because Southpaw Orthodox, and it was very dangerous because you kind of exposed when you throw that lead kick.
Yeah,
and his left down the pipe was one of his most dangerous weapons. So the coach said, very dangerous to do it. I took it on board, but it felt right, so I threw it a few times. But it was just making me aware of the danger there.
Yeah. Next question is from Edward asking, Rob, Jonny, have you played Kingdom Come Deliverance? I haven't played it.
You haven't? I have, and it is sensational. sensational. Like, it is such a good game. Such a good game. Especially if you play it on like the survivor difficulty, hardcore difficulty.
Of course, played on the hardcore difficulty.
But it's so brutal and so satisfying when you get somewhere. But it is it is great. If you want a game that'll just immerse you into that medieval life. Yeah. And the combat in it is so hard. Like, everything about it is awesome. Kingdom Come Deliverance, can't recommend it enough. It gets 9 chippies out of 10.
This rating system is great.
These next questions I just put in because one of them I'm really actually pumped for. So the question segment this week, me.
God. All right. You can ask them.
So I don't even know how to say this. How do you go this?
Scalata? Joshua?
I'm just going to call you Josh. Josh says,
Josh. All right.
I love Rob. I love Rob. Can't wait to see him smash or get smashed by Dricus because there is no guarantee in MMA. And I just had to think to myself, like, what do you mean? They're 2 very different outcomes. Like, why are you happy seeing both?
Dude's out here speaking like Khabib.
Mate,
smash or get smashed.
Absolutely like, he's just happy to be here. Just happy to be here. Doesn't care what happens. I don't know why he started with I love Rob. You should say, like, I love Smash. But mate, like, the next comment was from Darkstar. The whole comment was about games we're getting hyped up for, and one that I am very, very excited for is Armored Core 6, the FromSoft game, and I'm so pumped that FromSoft have taken it because I am a big fan of Armored Core. If you like mech sort of games, I like mech. I'm not a massive fan of mech games, to be honest, but Armored Core was a game I was always very into, so that's a game I'm pumped for.
Okay.
And
it's a big question. I think we're at from Will, who says, "Love your work."
Oh, yeah. Okay. He was talking about how a sleeping hack he uses, because we mentioned sleeping hacks last week.
Yes.
He talks about his sleeping hack is just like listening up on lore and things like that to fall asleep. Do you like lore in games, Jonny?
Dude, it's so coincidental that you picked this question because I said last week that the way I get to sleep is by listening to space videos and videos about the galaxy. Genuinely, this week has been listening to Elden Ring lore videos because the lore is so, like, a little bit convoluted. I'm just going to say it. It's very difficult to understand it just by playing the game. And I was watching this video from, like, Vati Vidya does great Elden Ring lore videos, but Ashen Hollow does a great explainer on, like, what the hell is going on in Elden Ring. So yeah, that's what I've been listening to this week, coincidentally.
I've literally watched all of them, I reckon. Everything lore-wise to do with Elden Ring I'll probably listen to because, like I said, if I'm playing the game, that's the theme of the week. So whenever I'm driving somewhere, that's what I'm listening to. But I get into them, though, so I can't listen to lore.
You can't fall asleep to it. Yeah.
So lore's cool. Lore's cool. Take the time to learn it. It makes the game better, I reckon.
And they explain it. You know what I mean? Like, as I said, I think Elden Ring is very hard to understand just from the game because you're getting very little tidbits here and there. And they're not.
That's like a FromSoft thing.
It is. And maybe it's a very obscure game, Elden Ring, just like with its concepts. And it's probably because of George Martin. But yeah, when it's put together. Sorry?
Did you play Dark Souls?
A little bit, but not as much as I played Elden Ring.
Elden
Ring I really got into.
Very similar. Very similar as well. It's like they don't... Fair. You got to learn about the world through item descriptions and things like that, you know?
Yeah. And it's tough. It's tough to do that. So I appreciate the YouTubers that put it together for us.
Hats off.
What have we got next?
We got one more question. That's it. I know it's a bit of a mess, mate. This is what happens when you put me in charge of questions.
You wanted to. You volunteered.
Papa Giuseppe said, "Hey, Rob, about to become a first-time dad to a little girl. Any tips?" And my tip, mate, is just enjoy yourself. Remember to enjoy yourself. Okay, it's a beautiful thing, and congratulations. So just enjoy yourself, enjoy the experience, be a part of it.
For sure. That, by the way, you said his name perfectly, because I would not have pronounced it like that. That's a great username. But that is it. Without any main cards or like main events for UFC and not much MMA news.
Thankfully, there was no MMA card, because we would have been here all night. And our 20 this would have to be one of our longer ones.
I think it definitely is, but it was a lot of fun. We've got a lot of games to play, and we're going to be doing it again very soon. Xbox has their showcase. Ubisoft has their showcase. We got a few showcases happening over the next month, so we'll be back here to talk about more of them. Rob, this was good, man.
Episode 11 in the bank.
Yeah, and one that wasn't so. This is our very first like non-MMA focused podcast, and we're probably going to be doing more of these.
Yeah, I guess it's. I know. Look at us go. Hour 20 of just rambling on.
Yeah. So join us next week. If you haven't subscribed, please do subscribe. Thank you for the support. Leave us your questions in the comments, and we'll see you next time. Take care.
Peace, guys.